Okay, folks, very good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the future session. I'll just talk you through a short I've got running as we come into this meeting. Just running a short from this 45, 46 region, rejecting the VWAP. Buyers, right, getting trapped here up against that level. So those buyers being trapped, just taking an early short into the open, just see what we can get. See if that can hold. Just been looking at this level here. It's a little bit against the grain at the moment. So I think what I'll do is I think I'll just bring this to break even. But I think there is a chance that does run back on me because the delta is positive and I want to be able to concentrate as I'm opening the session. So I'm just going to move that to break even. And let's just have a look at the, I'm just going to have a look at my other entries as well. Maybe just deal with those as we go. And let's have a look here. So I'll keep that at break even. So it's Federal Reserve interest rate meeting today. So very big day. Now markets are likely just to be cagey as we head into the meeting. There's a high probability that even when we get the Federal Reserve interest rate meeting, that markets don't even move on it just because the level of uncertainty. So it's the so-called dot plot tonight. And remember, the dot plot is when the Fed will outline their projections as to what they see moving ahead. Now, if you have a look, where is it? There it is. If you have a look here, this is the dot plot from their last meeting in March. Now, this is going to be very important. And the expectations are essentially that they keep interest rates, the projections the same. Unemployment is expected to be the same, but inflation for the headline and the core is expected to be higher, and GDP is expected to be lower. So that's expected to be at 1.4. Headline inflation is expected to be higher as well. Interest rates are expected to be the same. So in terms of projections, they're all here in terms of expectations, right? So you can see here, these are the expectations here that are outlined. So GDP expected to fall, unemployment the same, PC expected to be a bit hotter, headline a bit hotter, and then the federal funds rate here expected to be unchanged. The problem with this meeting, and this is the difficulty, is that there's so many uncertainties out there that even if the dot plot is a bit different, yeah, see that's just out at break even there. You can see that the danger with this is that you get a bit of a turnaround here into the open, which would make sense. The danger with this dot plot is that even if the dot plot's a little bit different, so what? Because the Fed's got tariff uncertainties, geopolitical uncertainties, they've still got uncertainty about how inflation's going to be going. So they're going to be the data dependent, right, moving forward. That's very much likely to be the case. So even if they think it's a little bit higher, a little bit lower, you could see the market just not reacting to it at all. So do keep that in mind for today, okay? That's when we get that interest rate meeting later. And what you tend to see in these kind of markets is markets just go flat, not much movement. Volatility is elevated because we've got the geopolitical risk. So we've got this geopolitical risk hanging about. We've got uncertainty over the Fed interest rate meeting. You see a slight bid come into bonds, gold finding some buyers, silver continuing to move higher, WTI Brent crude pushing up with the concern over the involvement of Iran, and US diplomacy is said to be moving away. So US administration is said to be moving away from diplomacy towards military intervention. And you've probably seen it being touted around that the US have these bunker buster bombs that could potentially deal with that Iranian nuclear enrichment threat and sort of really get rid of some of those nuclear development facilities. So you could see some US involvement, and there's political problems for Trump back in the US, but it's leaning towards let's deal with it. Iran's quite vulnerable at the moment. Hamas, Hezbollah, they've been dealt significant blows by Israel. Russia is a so-called strategic partner of Iran, but they're busy in Ukraine, and actually it's been a big home goal for Russia because so what that they've got to deal with Iran? It means literally nothing, it hasn't stopped anything. Russia haven't done any military intervention to help Iran, so is it seen as a potential weakness for Russia as well? Shows that they're too stretched. And then you've got these Iranian-backed groups in Iraq. They could present some kind of issue, but at the moment, unlikely to. So Iran's vulnerable. And this could be a moment that Israel's sensing, and you're beginning to wonder, actually, US could be sensing this as well, because if Iran aren't able to use a nuclear weapon, the US administration will like to think, well, that's going to be a safer world, right? So that's a big narrative going on at the moment, and any moment we could get news of the US acting in Iran. Now, of course, once the US do act in Iran, you're going to see the equity markets fall, and that's going to be because of the uncertainty. Okay, and it's going to be, what does that mean? I think the dip will be bought, but you never know in war, do you? And you never know exactly what's going to happen. So that's what's going on. So it's uncertain kind of day. Fed keeping markets busy for now, and the prospect of US intervention also, rattling around. So in terms of equity markets, it's going to be order flow trading. Looking first of all at the order TPO, you can see that time price opportunity, we're stuck within that previous day's range, and we're just sort of right in the middle of this area. Price has moved sharply lower from early in European trade. We're right now at the point of control, so we're kind of right in the middle of that range. You can see this drop, but look at the delta. The delta is positive, it's moving up. And even though those sellers have trapped all those buyers here, delta continues to build. So prices, has moved lower, right? But the delta is moving higher. So we're seeing some absorption going on here. Looking at the value area as well, you can see that price is in this developing value area low and at the point of control from this week and from the previous week. So we're in a kind of a really important area for potential support. That could mean that's a nice area for going long on. So you need to watch out for that as we come into the open, and certainly you can sense longs trying to build this level.
Israel is reportedly attacking Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei's underground HQ in Tehran.
Okay, right, so that's an attack going on apparently on the headquarters of the Supreme Leader of Iran. Interesting to see how markets react to this, and not selling off sharply, which tells you quite a lot, doesn't it? I think markets are resigning themselves to actually this could be a potential relief to the Middle East rather than anything else. So just interesting to see that nothing's really happening on that headline. And there you can see price trying to push up above this area. Because if buyers trap these sellers, then that is going to be interesting. For now, this is a key resistance area, but we'll see what goes on. You can see that price moving lower, even as the delta moves higher. So there's absorption going on here. So if you do see these areas getting trapped, then if you see these sellers getting trapped, then that is a potential reason to go long into the open. So let's have a look how that develops. Yeah, I think that's it, folks. It's one of those tricky kind of days. VWAP trying to hold for now. I've got a couple of minutes. Be interesting to see what happens here. I would consider another short here if that holds. Interesting. We've got 2 minutes to the close. We'll just have a little look and watch this. We're in a natural support area here. Coming up to a 15-minute close. VWAP holding. Let's just see what's going on here. So that's still holding underneath this value area. So I'm happy to go for another short there, just to see if this area can hold with these buyers being trapped. So I just put my stop above those highs there, just see if we get a little drop down with the daily VWAP holding. We are at a daily value area, so it wouldn't be unreasonable to see potentially a dip down. Let's see. Hey Najam, let's just mark these value areas in. Daily VWAP holding, everything's just sideways for now. There's so much uncertainty around, it's not surprising. It'd be interesting to see if we get a Little breakout of this area here, very important area here. Sellers amassed here and here in the past. 12 minutes to the open.
On the energy footing, according to Reuters sources, Canada could reportedly produce its first ever LNG this weekend from the LNG Canada export facility in Kitimat, British Columbia. According to Reuters, citing two sources, the LNG Canada expects to operate initially at 25% capacity.
It's a very important area. If you see sellers trapped here or here, that's a very important area, and that could be a launch point up to the 60-60. So just keep that in mind. Can see here that could be a point of control and up to the the day's high. The jobless data we've just had has been relatively benign. Remember the last jobless data we had was a bit worrying. There's not so much to worry about with the latest initial and continuous jobless claims. Continuous jobless claims slightly lower and the prior revised up slightly higher. So it just takes some of the pressure off the Fed to need to cut interest rates. So round the margins, it's negative for stocks, but it's just so minimal. And there's so many other drivers going on. It's, nothing tradable per se. That looks like that's wanting to break out of here. So I'm going to keep a careful eye on that. Buyers moving up. Let's see how it's reacting up here. Not a lot of volume coming in on the 5. Let's see, have a look on the 1. So buyers coming in here, but then not able to push it any higher. So got this flat range here. Let's see how it goes here. Morning, Mark Anthony. Good to see you. 8 minutes to the open. Moving higher, but on low volume. Let's see how we go. Sellers coming in, trying to take it back down. Let's see how far they go. Bit of conviction on the move lower. Certainly more enthusiastic selling than buying. Buyers, who have they trapped on the 5? Buyers trapped sellers down here. These sellers potentially trapped there. So 7 minutes to the open. 15-minute sellers here. Let's see. Down to the daily VWAP. A little bounce off the daily VWAP. Sellers still trying to come in. Sellers trying to build up here. A little bit of volume building onto the sell side. They're not getting very far though. Price staying above that daily VWAP. More sellers coming in. Buyers entering in on the dip. Daily VWAP trying to hold. 5 minutes to the open.
And the geopolitical footing via Al-Hadath does note a source close to Hezbollah told Al-Hadath the elimination of the Revolutionary Guard inevitably means the end of Hezbollah.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So I'm going to take the cue for the open from this 15-minute candle, right? If we close above those sellers here and or here, then I'm going to go long. Otherwise, I'm going to keep short running in.
And via Times of Israel journalist Emmanuel Fabian does note Defense Minister Katz says Israeli Air Force fighter jets should destroy the HQ Iranian regime's internal security, the main arm of the Iranian dictator's oppression. Right. And as they promised, they will continue to target symbols of rule and strike the Ayatollah regime wherever it may be. That's according to Times of Israel journalist Emmanuel Fabian.
Okay, well, things are really heating up now, for sure. This looks like it's going for regime change in Iran, doesn't it? You wonder if the Iranian regime can really take this pressure. I'm not sure it can. It could, and oftentimes these nations, when they crumble quick. You think of the, not the Berlin Wall, think of the, it was the Berlin Wall, think of the Cold War, how quickly that, collapsed. And the collapse of the USSR. Geopolitical change, it tends to be cataclysmic when it happens. Quick, fast, sudden, unexpected.
Just making we're seeing some upside in WTI and Brent on these latest headlines, with WTI now just testing $74 to the upside and Brent just breaching through that $77 handle.
Okay, oil liking this. Got 1 minute to the open. So let's see what we get here. The sellers are still there. See, those buyers got trapped and we're still maintaining that short. Here we go. All right, taking half a position off there. All right, so, okay, taking that position off. That was a nice little drop. Just hit that value area. So let's see what else we've got here. I've got another short running on another account, so I'm just sort of keeping an eye on that. So if we move down into that, that's just dropping. Let's see if we can go back down there. I'm going to move one position to break even now on the other account. Oh, it's taken out. It's been taken out on the other one as well. Great start. So there we go. Oh, nice one. That jump, very nice. So let's see what we're getting here. Just got to reassess. Just got to close out all my positions. Make sure I've got everything closed out. So there we go. Lovely trade. Nice and straightforward.